Namaste. This is Native Lifestyle Balance. Session 1 is called Welcome to the National Diabetes Prevention Program. I'm Carol Percy, a nurse who was a lifestyle coach during the Diabetes Prevention Program research study. The Diabetes Prevention Program proved that Native Lifestyle Balance works to help people lose weight and prevent diabetes.
Yat she Ross Barberin, Kian Andy Nanchler Nakidna, but she Twitch International, Sanapit Edashich, Since 1996, I worked with the study participant in Diabetes Prevention Program as a recruitment coordinator. We're glad that you found the online Lifestyle Balance program. Lifestyle Balance has been proven to reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes. We will be your online coaches as you work towards your two goals. 1, losing 7% of your weight. 2, being active for 150 minutes each week. Since you are completing the Native Lifestyle Balance online, we ask you to review 1 Lifestyle Balance session each week for the next 16 weeks. We believe you can reach these two goals.
Most people who complete Native Lifestyle Balance keep a binder with the papers from each section. We hope that today you are viewing the handouts for Session 1 either electronically or on paper. You can view or download the session handouts at this link. This is what the Lifestyle Balance binder of handouts looks like. I'm going to turn to page 4 to see a sample chart called How Am I Doing? This represents the weight loss pattern of a woman named Sandra Williams. Sandra started Native Lifestyle Balance at 265 pounds, and her 7% weight loss goal was 245 pounds. You can see that Sandra lost weight in a slow, steady pace. Sandra's weight loss pattern is what we hope you can accomplish. We are going to have you make your How Am I Doing chart in just a minute.
Page 5 shows you the 16 lesson here. And each week when you complete the class, you can write the date here where the line is provided for you. Since we are meeting online, you won't have a way to call us and ask us questions. Maybe you can find a friend or family member who can support your Native Lifestyle Balance effort without judging you.
So let's set your 7% weight loss goal. On page 11, you see a page that has 2 green boxes that show the 2 Native Lifestyle Balance goals. If you don't know what you currently weigh, you want to take an accurate weight to know where you are starting. So you need a scale available to you at a minimum of once a week. It is best to use the same scale to weigh each week. If you don't have a scale at home, you can purchase a cheap floor scale at your local discount store for $10 to $15. If you don't have the money right now to buy a scale, think about where you could access a scale on a weekly basis. Does someone next door own a scale? Could you use the scale at your local chapter house, clinic, or school to weigh yourself at least once a week? So to find your weight loss goals, use the charts on page 12 to 15, which represent 7% weight loss, or the amount of weight loss that has been proven to prevent diabetes. Find what you weigh today under the column that says your starting weight in pounds. The number to the right of the column is your 7% weight loss goal. Write this weight in the green box on page 11 that says lose 7% of your weight through healthy eating. Right here. So as an example, we're going to use a participant named Betty as we move through Native Lifestyle Balance. Today, Betty weighs 200 pounds. You can find 200 pounds on page 13, and then look to the right, and Betty's weight loss goal is 186 pounds. If you don't know what you weigh today and have a scale where you are watching, pause this video and weigh yourself now. Figure out your 7% weight loss goal and write that weight on page 11. Next, we're going to make a weight loss graph called How Am I Doing? So you can see your weekly weight loss progress. You can download your How Am I Doing graph at this website. This is the How Am I Doing graph, which is going to represent your weekly weight loss pattern. This bar right here represents a person's weight in pounds. This bar going across here represents 1 week. This whole time frame down here equals about 6 months of time. And so what we want to do is make a graph here that shows your weight. But first, let's write down your name on the How Am I Doing graph. So we're going to write Betty up here. Right here, you want to weigh what you weigh today, or your starting weight. Betty weighs 200 pounds. Next, write your 7% weight loss goal. In Betty's case, her weight loss goal is 186 pounds. So now we're going to plot these two numbers on this chart. So each of these lines going across here represents 1 pound of weight. Each dash line going this way represents 1 week of time. And so I want you to start right here by putting your rounded starting weight right here on this line that sticks out a little bit further. So these lines that stick out represent 5 pounds each of weight. So rounding is a hard thing for people. So for instance, if you weigh 173 pounds, you'd round up to 175 and write 175 here. If you weigh 231 pounds, you'd round down to 230 and write 230 pounds right here. In Betty's case, it's easy because she weighs 200 pounds, so we're going to just write 200 right here. The reason we started down a little bit on the graph is that we might gain weight during the program, and so you want some room to plot your weight if you gain weight. So here's Betty's starting weight of 200 pounds. We're going to take 200 and add 5 pounds to it and plot that number right here. So if your rounded weight was 175, you'd add 5 pounds and put 180 here. In Betty's case, we're going to put 200 pounds and add 5 to put 205 here. Add 5 more pounds and put 210. In the same way, you go down and subtract 5 pounds. So here we're going to go down 5 pounds, and in Betty's case, we're going to write 195, 190. So be sure you're writing down your weights and not what I'm writing here for Betty. So then keep going, subtract 5 pounds from each number until you get to the bottom of the chart. Now, since we have the numbers in here, we're going to plot our weight today. So let's plot it on this solid bar that goes up right here. So look at what your starting weight is and put a dot right there. In Betty's case, she weighs 200 pounds, so we're going to put a dot right there at 200 pounds. Now we're going to plot our 7% weight loss goal. So in Betty's case, we're going to go down to the chart. We see 185 pounds here, go up 1 pound. So here's 186. That's going to be her 7% weight loss goal. But we want to go across and plot it all the way on the other side of the chart. So right here, we're going to put a dot that represents Betty's 7% weight loss goal of 186. Now find something straight. I have a nice ruler here, and you can connect the 2 dots. So this represents Betty's 7% weight loss goal, or the pattern of how she should lose weight over the next 6 months to achieve her 7% weight loss. So congratulations, now you have a graph that represents your 7% weight loss goal. Each week, Betty and you will put an X in the box that shows your weight. If Betty's weight stays at or below this line, then she's on track to reach her 7% weight loss goal. If her weight is plotted above this line, then Betty needs to focus on eating and activity behaviors that will move her weight back toward the How Am I Doing line. As the weeks go by, try to weigh yourself regularly. Every day is best. Think of the scale as your friend, not your enemy. Whether the scale goes up or down, it gives you good information to act on for your success.
Your number 2 goal is your physical activity goal. 30 minutes a day, so 5 days a week, like fast walking equals to 150 minutes a week. You can reach this goal little by little. Right now, we want you to focus your effort on healthy eating. We won't try to reach the activity goal until week 5. Take a moment to think about how you feel about your weight loss and activity goals. Do you think these goals are too much, too little, or just right? Remember, you don't need to reach these goals this week. You will work up to these goals slowly and carefully.
Now, please turn to page 17 and answer the 3 questions. Why am I joining Native Lifestyle Balance? We'll give you some time to write down your thoughts. What do I hope to achieve by taking part in this program? Again, write down what you hope to achieve. How will healthy eating and being active help me and others? When Roz and I have worked with people in the past, they've said things like they want to prevent diabetes, they want to be able to attend their grandchildren's high school graduations, they want to walk the 4-mile course at next year's Just Move It events. Your reasons may be similar. Today you wrote down your purpose so you can keep your eye on the prize of reaching your healthy eating and activity goals. You can refer back to this page when things get tough in the future, when that scale isn't changing as fast as you hoped. Now for the fun part. To get started with our weight loss goals, we will begin by looking at how to make healthy eating choices by keeping track. To lose weight, we need to eat less fat and fewer calories. And the first step to eating less fat and fewer calories is to figure out what food we are eating now. To do so, we write down everything we eat and drink every day. Keeping track of what we eat is the most important part of learning how to change our behavior. Page 18 tells you some basic tips for keeping track. Spelling is not important. What is important is that you understand what you wrote. Be honest. Write down every little thing you eat, even 1 peanut. Be accurate. After a meal or snack, immediately write down what you eat so you don't forget. And be complete. Include everything that you eat and drink, even if it was just a taste. Don't forget things like salad dressing on your salad. There are many tools available to help you keep track. In Native Lifestyle Balance, we used a little blue book called the Keeping Track Book. You may be able to pick up a Keeping Track book at your local hospital, clinic, or fitness center. You can print your personal keeping track log at the following link. It's also okay to buy a spiral notebook to use to keep track each day. If you own a smartphone, you can download a fitness or calorie tracking app, and this app will be your food, activity, and weight log. So Roz, will you demonstrate now how to keep track?
Okay, now turn to page 19 and we will practice keeping track. Think about what you last ate. As an example, let's use what I ate for breakfast. You put the date here, which is August 4. The time that I ate breakfast at 5:15. And I had eggs, sausage, toast, coffee. Look what you wrote down and think about what you ate. Was I honest? Was I accurate? I should put down how the food was prepared. So 2 scrambled eggs and 2 pork sausage, 2 slices of wheat toast, and 2 cups of coffee. Was I complete? I remember I put on 2 teaspoons of creamer in my coffee, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and 2 teaspoons of butter on my toast. It's helpful to put one food on the line because in the future we will look up how much fat and calorie is in different food. If you are using a keeping track book, you don't need to worry about the column that says fat gram and calorie. You also do not need to write down your activity unless you want to.
That's enough new information for today. Each week we will have a list of items that you need to do starting now and until the next session. On page 20 is your to-do list or the things you will practice this week. Write down everything you eat and drink every day on your food log or keeping track book. Write down what you ate, the amount you ate, when you ate it, in other words, the time you ate. At the end of each day, look at the foods you ate and circle the foods you think are highest in fat and calories. Roz, what do you think you ate for breakfast that was high in fat and calories?
The 2 pork sausage.
I'd agree with that. Good luck keeping track this week. In about 1 week, you should view Session 2, Be a Fat and Calorie Detective. To prepare for Session 2, have the following with you: your completed food log from this week, the printed Session 2 handouts, a place to log your food for next week like a new keeping track book or your smartphone so that you can use your app or your spiral notebook with your food log. For Session 2, you will also need a way to count fat grams. There are many tools available to count fat grams. Your hospital, clinic, or fitness center may have a book called a fat counter that was made for the Diabetes Prevention Program research study. You can download a copy of the fat counter at this link. There are other small books you can buy that also have lists of food and the amount of fat grams in the food. If you are using a smartphone app to keep track of your eating, the app will have a way to count your fat grams, so you don't need to buy a separate fat gram counter. Thanks for being here with us today, and see you next week.
Go on it.